Vatican cardinals managed to choose a new pope for the Vatican after the late Francis' new pope, Robert American, and chose the name Leo XIV to be called a papal name. The governor's choice is surprising because it was in the second round directly, and of course this is a very fast rate, faster than expected. Usually the papal elections sit for long days, weeks, months and hours, sit for years because they do not have nominations. They do not say, for example, that so-and-so are candidates for the papacy. No, they bring the cardinals who are supposed to choose. They must be less than 80 years old from the cardinals in the Vatican. They sit in a specific church called the Systematic Church in the Vatican. They close the doors for 2 weeks for the first time, and then after that it will be renewed. If they continue for a long time, they will not communicate at all with the outside world during this period. And each one sat down to write the name of the one he chose secretly. Without any candidate names, you choose from all that exists. Everyone chooses what they deem appropriate. After that, they see the votes. The votes came out more than the two. It remains a success. We are talking about 138 cardinals to choose. We want 89 votes so that 89 votes can be obtained once without any candidates. Life is very difficult, eh? And if they knew that they were choosing the cardinal who would remain pope, they would succeed in the voting process, and white smoke would come out from a church from the sweepstakes of Rome called St. Peter's Church. White smoke would come out indicating to the public that the Pope had been chosen. If the process failed, they would not be able to choose one in such a vote. After this vote, black smoke comes out of the same church indicating that this vote did not succeed. We will do another one. The whole last century, 100 years ago, the rules ranged from 4 rounds to 10 rounds or more. But this time, the second time directly, what? They chose Robert Prevost or Leo XIV, which was a surprise to many people, the biggest surprise being that he was an American. The first time in history a Catholic Pope comes from America. First time running for America or coming out of America. One is Pope over all Catholics in the world. The first point in the surprise, the second point in the surprise is that America is not originally a Catholic country. America is Protestant, in which the percentage of Protestants is mostly 33%. The percentage of Catholics in America is 20%. There is no margin of a dominant force inside America. Keep in mind also the 33% of them are in leadership. The Republican Party is Protestant. All American presidents in all history have been Protestants except Kennedy, but the one who was Catholic and killed. But all American presidents are Protestant, and the country's direction is clear. Protestant, it comes from her. A Catholic Pope is a very striking thing. The third need is surprise as well. On the subject of whether he is an American or Leo XIV, he was not one of the candidates. In the various media and the various Catholic studies published after the death of the late Pope Francis, no one ever nominated a name. The truth came back, very many sources, meaning the BBC, for example, nominated it. One from Italy, one from the Philippines, one from Congo, and one from Ghana. When the Monte Carlo Review came, they nominated the same nominations, adding 2 from Jerusalem and Hungary to them. The British Sky News nominated the same nominations as mentioned by the BBC and Monte Carlo, and added to them people from France and Spain and other people from Italy and from Malta, meaning a name that was not present at all in all the candidates. The candidate for the papacy is called Papa Billy Babeli, which is an Italian word that means if he is a candidate to be a pope. Pope Billy has never had anyone say that. I or Leo XIV will be. He's also the new pope. One of the very eye-catching things that makes us spin on the subject of the story that he is America, the great surprise to the whole world. Trump has given many signs suggesting that the Pope will remain American in a striking way. After the death of Pope Francis, he announced that he wanted the next Pope to be from America.
This is also an advertisement. It is strange that Trump is originally a Protestant, meaning he has no interest in the matter. I mean, he is the Pope who is elected. This is a Catholic Pope who has an opinion or a role with Catholics in the world. And Trump is a Protestant of a completely different kind. So, I mean, if he said that he is the one who wants the Pope who is coming to be an American, the second thing after that, he did something very, very strange. Of course, we all followed and saw it, and I wanted to make an episode for it.
I didn't follow the pressure of events if he made a picture of himself with artificial intelligence in mind.
He is wearing the clothes of the Pope, Trump is wearing the clothes of the Pope, and they put this picture on his homepage in the gears, what social media, and it has very, very many comments from people as if he is saying that the Pope is American, meaning a clear indication that the next Pope is American. Trump remained B.B. Besky. Of course, Trump will not be the same.
But there is a signal in lapse. And when the L succeeded, the Pope Leo XIV, in the last election, Trump commented directly and said it was a great honor
for America to have the Pope from him. The question, of course, is politics involved in choosing the Pope? I mean, is it in any kind? There are numerous analyses that say, oh, this exists, it exists if there are certain political factors that led to this surprising path, a path that is astonishing to everyone, both Christians and non-Christians, Catholics and non-Catholics, all were amazed by this result. Is it possible for politics to intervene and lead the path to a specific situation that the great powers in the world, which is America, want? Medieval, I witnessed a lot of political pressure on the church. A lot of times the Pope was chosen as a result of pressure from France, pressure from Italy, pressure from Spain, and sometimes from Germany. They were putting pressure on the church. The selection, the process of choosing the Pope, politics intervened clearly and explicitly in the selection of the Pope. After the French Revolution and the diminishing role of the church, it seems no one cares much anymore if he chooses the Pope because he no longer plays a significant role in people's lives. But the recent period, the recent decades,
around the 70s, and after that the church began to have another role in people's political lives, and the church began to be a mediator between the conflicting parties in several places in the countries of the world. It does not have to be the church. The LP element that fights with the Catholic element, no, it interferes in political affairs in general, and therefore it has a political influence. The Vatican remains a recognized state. In a very, very large number of countries in the world, and of course in the United Nations, there are 183 countries in the world. They have embassies, meaning in the Vatican, and the Vatican has embassies. There are only countries that do not deal with the Vatican with embassies, including 4 Islamic countries, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, Afghanistan, and Brunei, including 4 countries. Some countries are communist, including China, Vietnam, Laos, and North Korea. You don't do anything with the Vatican other than that. The whole world has embassies with the Vatican. And the Pope is afraid of many issues and comments on elections and issues, political elections, that is, in different countries, and comments on political issues. And usually now the cardinals in the Vatican are divided into conservatives and liberals, meaning that like any party or any government, the 2 orientations remain. Pope Francis was counted among the liberals, and the new one is also counted among the liberals. This is expected to be the majority in the coming periods, because Pope Francis appointed very many appointments during the period he spent in the papacy, which is from the year 2013 until he died in 2025. He appointed very many people from different countries of the world. It was usual for most of the appointments to be from Europe. No, this is a family from Asia, from Africa, from Latin America, and therefore the equation changed a little, and most of those appointed were in the liberal direction, so this became the destination that exists in the Vatican. Of course, the Pope has an influence on 1.3. 10,000 Catholics in the world. This is the percentage of Catholics in the world. This is a large number, of course. And on his page, the late Pope Francis had 50,000 followers on his page,
on X or on Twitter previously. This number means that the Pope's words are influential, and thus entering politics into the issue and choosing this Pope is possible. Very striking words. This last American choice is meaningful. First, of course, the American role is clear, as it has been increasing in the recent period, and the polar park is being tried by Trump if he supports it, and this may be one of them. The ways, and let us keep in mind that the Pope before that, who is the late Francis, was a critic of Trump. He did not like Trump. He was a problem maker for Trump. Every little comment was burning Trump's character in the Christian world. He says that he was against him on the issue of deporting immigrants and on various issues. Even during Trump's election with Harris, he made a very strange comment that he is frustrated, or that he is the Pope himself, meaning that he is forced, that he is telling people to choose between two. He does not like both. Trump is comfortable with immigrants and Harris supports abortion, and he is against both issues, so he means I don't know what. Who can choose? Therefore, the presence of the Pope may affect the President of America, the decisions of the President of America, or his relations with various countries in one way or another. How many people follow the Pope and are influenced by his words? How large is this, therefore, possible to leave? Trump and America are seeking to change Baba and make him from America. We do not know the mechanisms used in this effect. I wonder what they did to make the choice in this way. Because, of course, all the topics are secret and mysterious, not clear to the general public, but what we notice is that a large number of Catholic bodies in America are just a week before the elections. Suddenly, they collectively issued flyers in support. And you thank him clearly and very noticeably in America. And after this issue, after these Catholic publications, suddenly, at the same time, American, English, and various newspapers in the world began to publish about and say that this is my first candidate. This papacy is a week before the elections. All the other newspapers that remembered the names of candidates academically did not mention the name of Prevost, but the needs. Who is loyal to her? From England, they published that this is the New York Times itself, which spoke on this subject. The British newspaper spoke on this subject. And A. Crooks, Belair, Katir, and the correspondent of the American Catholic National, an American newspaper, spoke on this subject and praised it and said that this is an exceptional personality, and they were putting pressure on it. He was determined in this direction in one way or another, and even covered up some of the involvement that he had in Peru. I mean, in some Catholic issues, they covered up them so that it is not acceptable for people to imagine unless this is what is coming. And after that we saw, if he actually succeeded in the elections and remained Pope, we do not know where globalization and Americanization will take us to the world, subjugating religion to serve politics. God knows what it will lead to. We do not know what the new Pope will do. You see, he will walk the path of dialogue, peace and cooperation between peoples as the one before him did, and he will not contradict this approach. For the nature of Muslims, we want him to be supportive of the policy of dialogue, coexistence between peoples. But in light of the extreme leadership of America and Trump and the intensity that we see in the attempt to control the quantities of the world in general, the winds may bring what the ships do not desire. We ask God Almighty to make it easier for Muslims to reason. May God reward you with goodness, and may God's peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you.